Hola, ¿cómo está, amigos? Uh, I pray you all are doing super well. It's a fantastic night. It's a lot going on in the world. The internet is on fire. The world looks like it's on fire, or headed towards a big fire. And a lot of interesting things came up. I like a quote from RFK Jr. He was talking about World War III didn't just start; it started when they assassinated Kennedy. I thought that was a relevant statement. Um, I thought that was very relevant because basically what they're saying is that Kennedy was killed basically by the neocon warmongers, CIA, situated in the CIA, uh, and other alphabet branches of government, i.e., the deep state. A lot of people say Israel's the deep state. So it's a lot of interesting components being revealed to the public, to the global public. And if nonetheless, it's I would say exciting. I don't think that's an appropriate term. But for people that's geeks like myself, we like to scholarship everything. Um, I think the appropriate term would be it's interesting and it's enlightening to know, read, study, hear reports on, um, but it's another to have it all confirmed on a broader scale, not from me to this person or to me to the audience, but from a global platform. You know what I'm saying? This is the United States representative in their legal capacities providing intelligence at this level, basically declassifying the information. So that's basically what we was dealing with. We was basically dealing with a blackouts. And if you hear my family in the background, don't worry about it. We're gonna keep pushing through. My beautiful Amira, Naela, Adora, my Isaiah, 1 year old, and my 5 year old is trying to get his hair done. Um, and he and they are such busybodies. We praise the Most High Allah El for giving us such beautiful angels with just a ton of energy. So that's all by itself. So if you hear them in the background, don't worry about it. If you hear some parenting in the background, don't worry about it. But hey, you got the studio at home and it's on the floor. It's on the floor. So welcome to our comments podcast, where we pretty much it is what it is. We cover topics, global topics, national topics, local topics, etc., trending topics, and we kind of focus in on your comments because and the community comments, right? To me, I think, and I've discovered, I've come to know that the comments is where all of the education starts and begins, or should I say begins, and where it continues. And like you got a lot of scholarship in the comments, and I think it deserves on our platform attention. It needs to be targeted, identified, and let's cultivate and embrace the different opinions of the world, of the fact finders, the fact checkers, the educators, the scholarship, and that was is such a it's such a I mean it's everything. I know it's funny for one. Like I'm a funny person. I believe in having a sense of humor and exercising that sense of humor. Laughter is good for the soul. Um, and beyond laughter, you have facts, you have information, you have intelligence. And I think knowledge is funny, right? Like I think knowledge is funny personally. Like good information is funny to me, especially when it's timely and it neutralizes the misinformation, disinformation, the propaganda, and the war machine that's behind it, because that's what we're dealing with. But going back to Kennedy's assassination, I thought that was a relevant statement from Bobby Kennedy Jr. I thought that was a heck of a statement. And that was in 63. And I look at 63 tonight, it takes me to some events that happened in 1913, 1871, February 21st, 1871, the incorporation of the District of Columbia. I take a look at this 1868 on the 14th Amendment. That was a coup against the American people. Um, when I look at um, the acts of 1774, when um, the Moors of America, Moorish Americans, we were denationalized, stripped. The nationality, our national identity was removed, and also any history, heritage, inheritance was usurped. We were overthrew, and at that point, the constitutional law, which had been enforced in 1774, was overthrew. So there was a coup against the Moorish heirs, the Moorish Americans, the heirs, indigenous, aboriginal population of North and South Central Americas, Mexico, and the adjoining islands, even into Europe, um, Spain, and different parts of the world, where we could see the extermination, annihilation of the Moors. And so that was a significant point to me from Robert Kennedy Jr. when he made that statement on his ex, and he said, you know what, that's interesting. We're talking about World War III from the Ukrainian and conflict, or the Russia special military operation in the Ukrainian country, and our minds kind of start there. Especially my age group and younger, kind of starts there. And when we talk about World War III, so that was a significant comment that he made on his ex, and it resonated with me because it made me start thinking. So 1871, you had not in 1774, you had a coup against the Moors, which was an overthrow of the constitutional government. Then in 1779, you had a further extension and operation. um I'm shooting, son. You gotta get out of here. I'm shooting live too, so you gotta get out of here. But anyway, so we look at the events of 1774, and then an extension of that was and this stuff started. You got to go to the Crusades, right? So that's why a lot of us was concerned when they started showing. I wouldn't say a lot of us was concerned, but people were concerned with my man having a Crusader tattoo that Trump was trying or is trying to appoint to the Secretary of Defense. And he had this big Christian Crusader symbol, which is a war symbol, which is a war symbol. It's a sign of death, conquest, trauma, and they tried to say it's a symbol to protect the homeland. But if you study the Crusades, it was an absolute holocaustic, catastrophic kind of event for the Moors, the Muslims of the world. They, and going back and forth for centuries. So when we see that, when that was identified as his a guiding principle, which be proud of your history, be proud of your heritage, etc. But be aware that we're aware of the history. We're aware of the symbolism that means. That's actually, in a lot of sense, offensive, right? Because it means the death of a nation of people, the murder, the rape, the pillaging of millions of people. And so, son, go in there, son. Where you supposed to be at? You see, I'm shooting, man. as I told you, I got children in the background, so don't be surprised. But so we looked at 1774, and then you rotate into 1779, which was an extension of the denationalization of the Moors in America and around the world. And then you look at where we at 1779. And then you look at 1865, which was the birth of the year of the birth of the 13th Amendment, abolishing involuntary servitude. And then you rotate that because that original 13th Amendment also carried those 20 sections that's now been removed from the Constitution, which included the 13 acres and a mule, which included lawyers couldn't be um, politicians. They couldn't run for office, couldn't be elected officials in the United States. Lawyers couldn't do that. That's in your original 20 sections of the 13th Amendment. Um, so you got the 1865, then you got the 1868 14th Amendment, which is another coup d'etat against the United States. That's what that's for. Um, because what it does is create a venue to regulate corporate property. So it creates a corporate citizenship venue, and which allows for public regulations to regulate that venue of their public properties. And that's what that 14th and 15th Amendment represent, because it can't grant you rights to vote because you authorize the United States of America, to even exist as a nation, country, corporation, etc. The people would be the sovereign authority. So the the institution that was established by we the people cannot grant, right, this this fictitious entity can't grant me a God given right. That's just um, that's against the law. That's out of order. You got law and order, and so uh, the reality of it is you got the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th Amendment. You got the original 10 articles of the Bill of Rights, which already secured the we the people's interest. Number one, two, when it comes particularly to the denationalized stateless people, Moors, or the Asiatic race of North America, right? Race and nation who were of Moorish descent. Now, Moors, um, what statement I was getting ready to make? Oh, so according to Act 6 of our divine covenant of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it states that the Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shore. It continues over into the Holy Quran, chapter 47 of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, Divine Prayer by a Noble Prophet, and published in 1927. It states that our dominion with respect to the Moroccan Empire, which the Moors received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt, right? So the Moors had received a mandate or a license to go out and build. And mind you, Egypt is on ancient Egypt, or ancient Kemet is in North America, right? So you got one in the Eastern Hemisphere, and you got one over in the Western Hemisphere. But historians predominantly they go to the Eastern Hemisphere as the cradle of civilization, even though it's the pyramids under the earth, in the water, on the earth, on the land, above the earth, etc., are older, bigger than the ones in the Eastern Hemisphere. So it's an absolute misdirection. Like why I'm looking over to the Eastern Hemisphere when I need to be looking down in the soil on where the sun sets, right? The sun sets in the west, which is the Al Moroccan, uh, Al Akasa Maghrib, right? The farthest you can go east, right? And so this is the headquarters, This was our headquarters. In the north end of the body, we were situated and established in North America, and we was running the world for thousands of years. And this is pretty much a popular history. It's not really a concealed or a hidden history here, not now. So, um, this information at this level is available. This intelligence is available to the people. So you got to look at that and say, well, okay, so we on these timelines, right? These timelines are significant. So we went from uh, we know that the last stronghold of the Moors was 1492 in Granada, Spain. We know the Moors. Any mention of the Moors history, anything was ripped from history. Libraries was burnt, books was burnt. Um, an entire nation of people was massacred, bro. So when we look at these world wars, this World War III, you're absolutely right. It didn't start when the United States authorized the Ukrainian government to execute offensive attacks into uh, deep into Russia. It didn't start there, not at all. Uh, we've been at World War III for a long time. This is probably way past World War III. We got a war on our food. We got the war on our spirits, on our minds, right? They corrupt. They're trying to go after our church, and so, and uh, this is not a new situation. I'm going to go blank screen for just a minute, so we can pull up the other screens here, and so we're going to just take a little quick pause just to kind of get our other systems. And if you hear my son in the background crying, uh, Justice ended up catching him, which I'm pretty sure is gonna catch him in this house. Them people seriously hear about the law and order, and I do apologize to y'all. I didn't even ask you all how you was doing on this Saturday evening. I hope you having fun wherever you at. If you're not out and about, I hope you're peaceful. Um, Stimulating your mind right here with us. We're gonna bring the pressure this evening because there's a lot of pressure out there on its own, just natural pressure. I try to scan the universe, the cosmos, and it's like I said, it's a lot of it's a lot of heavy work out there. So, kind of want to pick and choose. I won't say pick and choose. You just really want to gravitate towards intelligence that's really helpful at the end of the day. I think it's a lot of misdirection out there. So let's see what we got here. We got some breaking news stories. Shouts out to X. X is killing it right now, man. X is doing this thing. They even talking about buying MSNBC, turning it into a news network. I think Elon Musk and Trump is a great duo together. Um, I kind of felt like maybe they've been together just on my conspiracy theory type of situation. I kind of feel like they've been together, but couldn't really come out too early with the public with that. Because you got guys like what's my man's name? Bernie Sanders. This guy is incredible. He's really incredible. I think he's a brilliant guy for what he's trying to do. I think Mitch McConnell and them is idiots, but I really kind of feel Bernie Sanders and his optics and his tactics because the fact that Elon Musk and Trump is together, not to mention, and I think we kind of get ahead of ourselves because Elon Musk and Trump is a lot by itself, right? But when you mention Vivek in there, that's crazy. This guy's a billionaire, Vivek. He's a billionaire, right? This guy invented medicine. Not the medicine I would take, right? I'm serious. I don't take not a drop of what he provided to the people. Not that saying it didn't work or not. I just don't do. It's against my religion and my education. I know dang on well everything I need. on a fundamental level, Mother Nature already has it. Now we talking about advanced technology, that's different. But if you start talking about them little prescription drugs and stuff like that, I'm straight, 100%. However, everybody minds are different, right? Federal government overspending is what causes inflation. On this case, Elon, duh, duh. Hey, we know that for sure. Government inflation causes, I mean, government spending causes inflation. Duh. And that's why they fighting you tooth and nail, because this has been the biggest money laundering operation in human history. I'm gonna double down on that. I'm just gonna continue to double down on that until people finally wake up. Listen, I've been doing this before Trump. Now, has Trump been in the politics game longer than me? From his position, of course, right? Because he's been a big donor to the Democrats. Oh, excuse me. All right, so let's get in here and box a little bit. Woo. Open them lungs up tonight, y'all. I just got off of two. Well, I can't put that out there, but I had a great time just a little time ago with a nice little exercise, a little late night exercise, help get the lungs open. All right, so let's see what we got here. Did you know that MSNBC stands for Microsoft? It all makes sense now. And Microsoft. That's the name, MSNBC. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Let's see what we got here, people. Okay, let me see what I reposted. So let me get this straight. If we get nuked, it would be by missiles with technology given to China by Clinton, funded by Iran, with money Obama gave them, with warheads developed with uranium sold to Russia by Hillary, but Trump is the traitor. And you know what's funny about that is we knew that. The conspiracy theory community knew that. That's why we don't like Hillary Clinton. That's why our problem with the Obamas and the Biden crew. We've been on them since the pop, right? Like, what are you doing? And it makes sense because every decision, most of the decisions that they made, is money leaving out of the country to go empower foreign adversaries. That's what we've been saying the whole time. Like in the city of Pontiac, when I ran for a school board, it was during a time of bankruptcy. It was during a time of a crisis. Hold on, let me make sure my stuff working on the other page.
In Hunan's history, and it's been
China has hit the mother lode with the discovery of a massive gold reserve in South China's Hunan province. Chinese geologists identified more than 40 mineral veins located less than 2,000 meters underground with a worth of almost $83 billion. Scientists were using innovative technologies, including 3D geological mining, to look for precious metals. They estimate the total reserves in the area to be over 1,000 tons. Now, this comes as gold prices have soared recently and are set to reach record highs in the coming months. CGTN correspondent Sun Tenyuan brought us more details.
Now, Chinese geologists announced they have detected over 40 gold veins with a reserve of 300 tons of gold within a depth of 2,000 meters. beneath the Wangu goldfield. Now, this site's gold reserve within the depth of 3,000 meters is further estimated to be over 1,000 tons. Now, that's worth about 600 billion yuan or over 80 billion US dollars at current market prices. And Chinese geologists say it's a huge breakthrough, not only just for Hunan, but also for the whole country. Now, the Wangu Goldfield is the largest gold deposit ever discovered in Hunan's history, and it's been 30 years since the gold deposit was first discovered. Now, even on a national scale, there are only about 5 gold mines of this site. Gold is considered as a hard currency globally and has always been a reliable stabilizer during times of political or economic uncertainty. It's a resource that nations can count on to navigate risks and challenges, whether they're financial, geopolitical, or industrial. So discovering more gold isn't just about adding to the reserves. It's about giving the country greater confidence and flexibility to face a wide range of uncertainties. And this massive discovery at Wangu Goldfield is a big win for China for sure. And like I said, it means more gold to strengthen the country's financial systems, provide economic stability and security, especially in today's complex global environment.
Helping Israel, they've been helping AIPAC, they will help anybody but us, but they are bought and paid for by AIPAC. So once you understand this, and once you see this video, you will understand why nothing is getting done for the Black community. They're not passing any bills for the Black community. That so-called reparations bill that people keep asking Jim Clyburn about, which actually isn't real reparations, there is a reason why they are not moving on these pieces of legislation. They don't intend to. They exist there in Congress only for symbolic reasons and for you to think that you have representation when you do not. Listen to what they say.
So I think you know that AIPAC is both a grassroots organization and also a leadership empowerment organization. So a particular concern to us are not African Americans, but those African Americans that will be part of the Congressional Black Caucus.
Pause. So here is